Guys, maybe this might be some heartbreaking news for many South Africans, black South Africans to be specific, who always preach we want the land back. Apparently, according to Mama Winnie Mandela, may so rest in peace, the mother of South Africa, the mother of the nation. She was interviewed way back before she passed on, and she was explaining how difficult it is to really get the land back. And even though they have passed many laws trying to get the land back, they still found it very hard. Mama Winnie passed on, the land is still not back to the hands of black people. You know, now there's Abujai Shlope, Julius Malema, Jacob Zuma trying to get the land back, and they're finding it so hard to get the land back. Why is it so? But I want you guys to listen to Mama Winnie. Listen to her.
It was easy to hoist the flag of freedom and say we were free at last. But then the economy still remained in the hands of the few. And the most difficult part has actually been transformation. We didn't realize how difficult it would be to get back our land, because it was owned by the people who had oppressed us all those years, and we had had such a violent history that we wanted to put an end to the armed struggle, difficult as it was, and we were not going to do land grab. We were going to see to it that we passed legislation that saw to it that we got our land back transitionally and amicably. But as you would know, the willing seller, willing buyer policy has not worked as much as many other policies have worked. We have passed a lot of legislation trying to transform South Africa amicably. But of course, the masses down there do not necessarily bother to think of the fact that it cannot be done overnight. And for a people who had been oppressed for so many years, you can't blame them for having been impatient with the leadership. And you can't blame them when they wonder whether this is the South Africa they fought for. And unfortunately, because of our history of our country, the pace is not as much as we would have wanted it to be, the pace of transformation.
You just heard the mother of the nation explaining how difficult it is to really get the land back, and explaining that, yeah, as the ANC, they've put many motions into the table, they've put many policies trying to get the land back. But because the land was previously owned by the colonizers, they have the title deed, they have the ownership right to the land. They enslaved us, right? They colonized us here in South Africa. They took our land, they put it into their own ownership, using their own law, their own Roman Dutch law. So with using Roman Dutch law, of course, to them the law is not foreign. They created the law. They know the law. So there is certain sections within the law that favors them having the land into their hands. If you want to go, if you don't want to do this thing unlawfully, and you want to go through the process of the law, because any other way of trying to get the land back, it's not going to be lawful. It's going to be illegal. It's going to be unlawful. You'll have to fight back. You have to fight to get the land by force from white farmers. You'll have to fight to get the land back from the building owners who are currently owning the buildings and the title deeds of whatever stand it is in whatever city that's within South Africa. So if you want the land back, the easy way out, you'll have to fight very hard for the land. You'll have to evict many European foreigners, many European settlers. You'll have to evict many European white people, poor people, who are currently occupying large numbers of farms. But then that won't be lawful. It will be unlawful. You'll be breaking the law. You'll be breaking the same law that doesn't favor you as a black person. So, and bear with me, this is a legendary mother of the liberation of the struggle of black people in South Africa, Mama Winnie Mandela. And she's saying it was very difficult, even for them and the leadership of the ANC, to get the land back. We have seen the EFF has been fighting for the land for the longest time. They still can't get the land because of their numbers. They have low numbers, so it's understandable for them. MK Party, they're still new in the block. They want to get the land back too. Preaching, bring back the land. They want it. Like black revolutionary political parties want the land so bad, but they find it hard to get it. Why? Is it the policies? Is it the constitution? Is it the law that is making it so difficult for the land to be gotten back by black people? What is it? Because it can't just be these people now, they're not willing to, they're willing to fight. They're willing to fight, they're willing to preach, bring the land back. But they're failing to implement it. Why? They don't have the numbers. Why? There's a certain policy called willing seller, willing buyer. You can only buy the land if someone is willing to sell it. And if you're willing to buy it at that price which they're selling it, then it's gonna be yours. You're gonna buy it. You're gonna go through the process and through the law, the same law. That is not yours. That is not African. That is not South African. To get that land, to get that title deed, to get the right of that property. So black people, seems like they'll always buy land. It will never get to the point whereby you just get land for free because the government finally got the land for you. But then there's options of you putting MK Party into power. There's options of you putting EFF into power. And they're promising to bring back the land and hand you the land back to your hands. And it's gonna be yours. But you're not voting. You're voting otherwise. You're voting for political parties that don't want to give you the land. Do you even want the land back as black South Africans? I don't think you guys want the land back. Because political parties that are preaching to give you the land back, you guys are not voting for them. You're not voting for the EFF. You're not voting for the MK Party. You're not voting for the PAC. You are not. Instead, you want to bash them day in, day out. You want to speak so negative about these political parties which want to give you the land. So it just makes me think, maybe the land is not that important to you guys. You keep on renting, emaflating. You keep on renting houses by bonds, taking bonds to rent houses in suburbs. Land which is not yours. A house you would never own. Because you are given a lease period of 99 years. You would never live that old. So it's not going to be sustainable for you to end up owning whatever house in whatever suburb you stay in. Then boom, you lose a job. The next thing, you lose your land. You lose your house, that property, you lose it to the banks because you were in a bond. It was never even yours to begin with. So are we ever going to get the land? When? How? How will it be divided? How will it be given to the people? These are some questions I have. Because this land thing is very interesting. If you want to dive deep into it, it's very interesting. But it is what it is. Thank you very much. Stay blessed.